Y'all remember Speaker of the House Jim Black? Prison. Y'all remember Governor Easley? No prison, but felon. And we still don't know about that vice presidential candidate, little Johnny Edwards. But I'm sure we'll be very amused when we hear about it. So are they going to run on their records? They should be very proud of them. I'm sure that they are. But it's time right now to restore respect and integrity to the highest offices in our state. And we can do that when we elect Pat McCrory governor. We can do that. It's also time to increase our majorities in the House and Senate. And it's time to give me and Steve Troxler some help on that council estate. Think about it. 10 top elected officials. If we had Republicans in all those slots, think of all those departments of state government that would be run by Republicans. It's a good place to start. Let's take a hard look at the council of state members who are running and their primaries, and let's pick some good people so that we can take over those seats. I want to look around the table and see a lot more Republican faces. I sat there for 4 years by myself. By myself. They sat there, like this with their heads down when I would make a motion. Nobody would second it. It looked like they were praying that I would just drop dead. But I didn't. So I sat there by myself, and then I had some help with Les Merritt and Steve Troxler, but now it's just Steve and I, and we really need some more help on that council estate. We do a lot of things that you need to know about. We approve leases for all the state buildings, for all of state government. We approve bonds that are issued. Do you know that you have not voted for a long-term debt bond issue since the year 2000? But yet we've increased our long-term debt tremendously. And we've done it without your approval. But now we're getting to the point where that non-voted debt is becoming a huge percentage of our total debt. So we've got to be careful with that because that affects our bond rating. So we need more people on the council of state. But we do have an incumbent president to run against. And what a president he is. He just sets new records every day that he's in office. In the last almost 4 years, we've seen almost $16 trillion in debt. We're headed toward Greece. That's what they all tell us, right? We're not headed toward Greece. We've passed Greece. Oh, yeah. Well, for us in the United States, per capita, we all owe a total of $45,000 each. Oh, yeah, I'm going to write them a check in just a few minutes. But in Greece, they only owe $38,000. So we've sailed right on past Greece. Yeah, let's learn to yell, "Opa!" and set some cheese on fire. Learn to love it. I do love Greek food, by the way. We also have the second anniversary of Obamacare was yesterday. Happy birthday, Mr. President. Yeah, but I didn't see any news about that from the president, did you? He took off to where, South Korea? Maybe he really needed to go there, I don't know. We also have $1 trillion in student loan debt. Now this is a problem, folks, because those young people between the ages of 24 and say 35, they can't get mortgages to buy a house because of that student loan debt. Only 9% of them last year were able to get a mortgage. But yeah, they keep pushing more and more of that debt on our young people. Go to college, we'll pay for it, we'll guarantee it, go to college. Everybody doesn't need to go to college. We need tradesmen. We need people who can work with their hands. We're reaching a situation where it's getting desperate in the state for skilled tradesmen. I wrote a check to my plumber and it was more per hour than I wrote to my attorney. But we have this student debt problem. And is that the next bubble? How about consumer debt? It's $1 trillion. It's $1 trillion now. Is that the next bubble? There are bubbles all over the place. We're not drinking champagne, so they're not going up our nose. They're just bursting. But anyways, we have 46 million people on food stamps now, and they're running ads on TV so that we can have maybe 46 million more. I don't know. Food stamps serve a purpose. They serve a purpose. But, you know, to say that it's a way to boost the economy, I don't think so. But Nancy Pelosi and that crowd, you know, they think unemployment insurance is good for the economy. What are they smoking? And we're borrowing now 42 cents out of every single dollar that we're spending. How long could you keep your household going doing that? I couldn't keep mine going very long. But yes, he has some wonderful records, all these records. But as of April 1st, and this is no April Fool's joke, when Japan lowers their corporate tax rate, the United States will then have the highest corporate tax rate in the world. A new record. Doesn't it want to make you shout, USA, USA? I'm sure our businesses will be shouting that. You think they're going to stay here? Where are they going to go? They're going to go anywhere that gives them a better corporate tax rate. So that's a new record that we have. So, one of the problems we have, and I read this and I think it's true, the problem in our country is that those of us that work for a living are being outnumbered by those that vote for a living. And you know, my mama, bless her heart, she passed away, God rest her soul, I love her, still. She said that I shouldn't say anything bad about anybody. And if I couldn't say something good about them, don't say anything. But I want to talk about President Obama. So I'm going to say that he sings pretty well. And he did a pretty good job of acting in that 17-minute film he made touting his accomplishments. So he's a pretty good singer, and he's a real good actor. And I'm not surprised that they called on Hollywood to do that film and had Hollywood well-known people directing it and narrating it, because they do make up some pretty cool stuff in Hollywood. And that film is total fantasy. So they did a good job with that film. I hope you get to see it sometime. Pop you some popcorn. Get you a Bud Light or a glass of wine. Enjoy it. Well, he's our campaigner-in-chief. He's supposed to be our commander-in-chief, but he's been out busy man. Any of you seen those big black buses lately that he bought? That he roamed around in? I haven't seen those big black buses, but it reminds me of a story about a farmer who was plowing his field. He was out one day just plowing away, and all of a sudden down this rural country road comes this great big bus covered in political signs, and it was full of politicians. Well, it crashed into a tree, ran off the road and crashed into a tree. What a horrible mess. So the farmer sees this, and he jumps down off his tractor and runs to investigate. Well, he gets down there, and people are laying all over the ground. So he's looking at all this mess, and he runs back up to the barn, and he gets his backhoe, and he comes back down, and he buries all of them. So about 3 days later, here comes the sheriff. The sheriff's going, oh my gosh, what happened here? Look at this horrible, terrible bus accident. He said, where are the passengers? Were they all dead? And the farmer said, well, some of them said they weren't, but you know how politicians lie. So please, Mr. President, just give us the facts. Stop the spinning and stop the blaming. We're grown-ups. We can handle it. Just tell us what's going on in our world so that we can have some certainty finally back in our lives, in our family budgets, in our businesses. Just tell us the truth. And that's like the story of the emperor's new clothes. Y'all know that story? Yeah, I heard it as a child. But this is the story where the emperor, was sold a bill of goods by these two shysters. They told him they had the most beautiful fabric in the world. Well, everybody was afraid to say they couldn't see it because that would make them look stupid. And it would make him unfit to serve if he said he couldn't see it. So everybody had to see this material, even though it was invisible. So that went on for a while, and everybody, oh yeah, everybody that came in, just bragged about how beautiful those clothes were that was being made from that invisible material. They just couldn't admit they couldn't see it. Well, he gets all dressed up in his new clothes, and he starts on a procession through town. And all of a sudden, everybody's cheering, oh, how beautiful those clothes are. Doesn't he look wonderful in his new clothes? And he's just proud as he can be, until a little small voice in the crowd of a little child says, but he has nothing on. So then through the crowd goes all this twitter, he has nothing on, he has nothing on, and it grows in volume until he realizes he's naked. He doesn't have anything on, but he holds his head high, and he finishes the procession. So I would just say to Mr. Obama, President Obama, you have no clothes. You have no clothes. Your big government, big union, anti-business policies don't work. We know the truth. You have no clothes. So tell us the truth from now on. Tell us the truth. That's all I want. And I'd like to end with this, and I think this pretty well sums it up. The America that we know and love, the America that provides all the opportunity and freedom in the world, the greatest nation in the world, the America that we love is currently on life support. And President Obama has slapped a do not resuscitate bracelet on her wrist without her permission. And they're wanting to pull the plug on the America that we know and love. But we have the cure for what ails her. We all have the cure for what ails her. We are her caregivers. We are her caregivers. And the times call for the caregivers to provide heroic measures for her survival. We must not allow ourselves to wake up on the morning of November the 7th and read the headline in her obituary, Obama wins a second term. Thank you for all you do. Thank you for everything you do for the party. It's been a blessing for me to be here with you today. And God bless all of you. Thank you.
Great. Yeah, I told Commissioner Berry, I said, do not be a stranger. Come back and see us anytime.